Hey and welcome in this video lesson. Today you are going to learn how to play with the white pieces and how to use successfully this first move e4. Without further ado, let's dive in. You can start the game with the move e4 and after this you can play there, he can develop the knight, and usually here we have the Italian system, developing the bishops in these good diagonals. But here I'm suggesting you to play knight to c3, a very tricky move because your opponent usually he's going to play something like bishop to c5, right? And he already fell into the trap because here you can capture the pawn on e5. Believe it or not, yes, you can do it thanks to the tactics. And here he has two actually moves. One of them is to recapture the knight instantly and then you're going to play d4, and the other move is, okay, I'm going to lose one of my pieces after d4 and for that reason I'm going to take on f2, and after this now I'm going to take the knight, right? It looks okay for black, but actually it's not, because we can play d4, attacking the knight, gaining a lot of space. Here he has to remove the knight again, and bishop to c4. I told you in my previous video, in some of my previous videos, that you have three ways to secure your king. One is to castle short side, another one is to castle long side, and another one is to make this manual castling. And how to do that? After this, for example, you can play rook to f1, and after this you can play king to g1. You can see we have a castling position. We do it manually by moving the king here. Now we have an open file for the rook, eyeballing f7. We can pin the knight, we can jump forward with this one on d5, as you can see, and we can create a lot of pressure here. For that reason, white has a very serious initiative. Let's go back now. So after the move knight takes, he can take here, we can play d4, he could go back, and after that takes, bishop d3 in order to develop our pieces and castling short side. This is very important, and after this short castling he has to develop actually bishop there, bishop out in front of the pawns, and now f4, a very important move. As you can see, we are attacking, we have a very aggressive position. Later we can play something like e5, the queen can jump towards to the king side somehow, the rook can come in the center, so we have a very nice position. And here after takes, he can fall into another trap actually, because a very normal looking move here is to play something like bishop to g4, attacking our queen, but already he fell into the trap because you can remove the defender, capturing a piece, isolating this bishop on g4, and now after this we can take a piece, white has an extra piece, or after bishop takes we can take his own queen. He can try to escape, but we can take another pawn, or if he just captures our bishop we can take his own bishop, and we have an extra piece here. So let's try these moves again. We have this one, and now knight to c3, the three knights opening, and after this again he fell into the trap and we can take. But maybe the players with the black pieces knew already this trap and he would like to set a trap for you, so you have to be extremely careful, because after this we can play d4, he can take, and now black player can play this move queen f6. Be honest with me, what are you going to play? And if you think about that, please write it below in the comments. I'd like to check what are you going to play. And the most normal move here, the most natural move of all, is knight to d5, right? It looks normal because we're attacking the queen. He cannot go in a lot of squares, for example, he cannot go back because we can take the knight, he cannot go on e6 because we have this beautiful family fork, and everything looks very nice. We are winning, right? But actually it's not. We are losing here, and we are losing thanks to this check on f3. He is attacking our king and our queen, so we cannot capture his own queen. We have to take the knight, and now he can take our queen. Yes, we have this one to take his own rook, but after that he can play something like b6, and our knight is trapped, so he can play bishop to b7, and we are losing. Alright, this was the trap here, and I didn't show you actually. In this position we should not play knight d5, this is a mistake. We have to play knight to b5. This is the best move because we are protecting the queen, we are threatening this pawn. So white here is winning, everything is perfectly placed here for him. Let's move forward actually now to see to see some games, right? And you're going to say, come on, who is strong player and who is going to play this one? I'm going to show you 3 games. In this first game we have Morozovich against Svidler, the game played in Thessaloniki 2013, and we have these opening moves, and here we should wait, right? We should wait here. Actually, before that game I'm going to show you another one. It's Tari with another player, played in Untitled Tuesday. Tari is a very strong player and he played in many very strong tournaments recently. And here we are waiting, right? We are waiting him to play bishop c5. This is our trap, but he's going to play another good player. He's going to play something like that, the 4-knight defense. He's hoping now to play bishop to b5. This is a normal system. But here we have another trap, and the trap is another waiting move, this ridiculous looking move a3. What is the idea behind it? Obviously waiting for bishop to c5, because it looks so natural, so normal to develop the bishop here. And after that we can take, and after this we can play d4, as you can see, with transposition to our opening, and we have a fantastic game here, fantastic game. But Tari's opponent, he is a strong player, a title player, and he played the normal move d5, and I'm going to show you how to play against this system, because your opponent could play normally after he fell into the trap 1, twice or 3 moves. So we can play bishop b5, he's threatening this pawn right now, takes, now queen to b6, queen d6 attacking the knight, and we have d4. En passant, taking this pawn in this way because we move it forward twice, and after this he played bishop to f4. The idea is to remove the knight here on g6, protecting the bishop, attacking the rook, attacking the queen in the same time. So he's trying to create tactics. He played this one, and now we have just castling, right? He just developed his pieces, because it's more important to keep your potentials, keep your threats, and complete your development. So we have knight takes, and it looks like that he's losing a piece, because after this the queen can take the bishop, right? He's losing the piece. But he just calculated correctly, and you need to calculate accurately if you like to become successful player. And for that reason he cannot really take there, because we have this tactic, pinning the queen to the king, and white is winning. And for that reason he went on b6. Okay, now we have takes, and he didn't capture on b5, because we have this very powerful check on e1, and after this we are going to give some checks with the queen. Queen is going to give some checks in order to win time and improve her position. This is why she is giving so many checks, and after this we have another check and another check, and finally we have this checkmate in the center of the board. For that reason he didn't capture on b5, he calculated this one, and he played c6. Black player is trying to consolidate his position, but we have the initiative, he gave a check on e1, and now black's idea was to play this move bishop to e6, and everything looks normal here, everything looks nice for black, right? What are you going to do? I'm threatening your bishop, I'm going to take another pawn, I'm threatening this one, what you're going to do? And Tari had in mind to play an amazing move, an outstanding move, and this is a knight to d5. Force the resignation of his opponent, because he cannot do anything. Queen doesn't have a lot of squares. For example, first of all, she cannot take the bishop, because we have this family fork again, attacking everything. And what to do? Maybe she can go here on a5. And by the way, he cannot take with a pawn, because it's pinned by the bishop, and he cannot take with the bishop because it's pinned for the rook. So he played queen to a5, and here he could continue with queen h5. What he is threatening? Pinning this pawn, so he is threatening to take with the rook here on e6. And his opponent could play something like that, and now we have a very strong move, queen to e5. Simultaneous attack against the rook, we are attacking the rook, and against the 7 square. And maybe he can save the rook, but here we have this check, he can go away with the king to protect his king, and now we are winning. How? Because we can take here check, and now we can take the queen. So white is victorious, right? Easy to understand this one. Let's jump forward. I mentioned about this game Morozovich-Svidler. We have these opening moves, and here he didn't play this tricky move a3. I suggest you to do that, but this knight's opening with knight to c3 is a sound opening actually. It's a very nice transposition, very nice waiting move, and you can transpose from one opening to another. Here we have this 4 knight opening, bishop to b5, very normal, and black will play something solid with bishop to b4. I used to play this line knight to d4 with the black pieces. It's a nice line as well. And here he played, Morozovich played bishop to a4. After this he just captured the pawn, and after castling he just played knight to d3. He's trying to consolidate his position, he's attacking the bishop, and after this he played e5, attacking the knight. We have knight e8, and after this we have c6, king the knight away. He went back, he didn't exchange. Now we have d5, castling, f6, try to strike in the center of the board, and after this he went back, and now we have b4 and queen to c7. What black is doing, black tried to build a very strong center, and white in the other hand would like to break these pawns in order to liberate the bishop. This is the fight actually. And here we have b5. For that reason white is continuing with his plan. The game is tense right now. It's like King's Indian defense, in which black would like to attack in the enemy king side, and white is trying to do something in the other side of the board. It's a very sharp position. And now after pawn takes, he just played bishop to a3, attacking the rook. You see, rook f6, he's preparing his attack. He would like to build this up with rook to h6, eyeballing this h2 square with the queen and the rook. So we have knight there. White is continuing his own plan, putting more and more pressure against these pawns. And now we have e4 takes, and black played this one, rook h6, threatening checkmate in one move on h2. So we have h3 and knight h4. Now we have knight takes, queen here, and pawn takes. After this he cannot just capture with the bishop here actually, because we have knight to g4, very strong move, attacking both queen and rook. And after this we have a very strong pin. The queen is pinned to the king, cannot move away, so he has to lose material here. For that reason he didn't capture on b7 with the pawn, but he played another move, knight f3 check. What are you going to do now? Actually in defense sometimes you don't have a lot of options, because if you just move the king, wrong click actually. If you move your king to the side, then he can checkmate on h2. So we have to do something else, and Morozovich found this very nice idea to give up his queen. Queen takes on f3, and after this he just captured the rook in the corner, creating a new queen. And now Schwindler resigned actually, because he don't have a lot of options. For example, he can take here in order to open up white's position, but here we can give a check, and after king to king f7 we can take on c8, protecting this one. Of course he can take here, creating a new queen. We can take that, and now black's attack is over. White has a lot of extra pieces, and he is going to win this game. At this point I'd like to talk about the chess opening package, which contains Scandinavian defense, Grand Prix attack, and Benko gambit. If you click in any of those links, you can see the detailed curriculum of the lessons. Each course contains theoretical videos and analyzed games. In total we have 46 theoretical videos, which are more than 11 hours, and approximately 200 analyzed games. Only 1 hour of a professional trainer cost approximately 20 euros, and you can see here the outstanding final price of this package. If you're interested and you'd like to own this package, then you can click the link in the description of that video. If you like to join the club with ambitious chess players, then consider to subscribe in any premium chess course to enroll on this one in order to learn more and more interesting ideas. And here we have another game, the final game actually, Sergei Karyakin with white pieces, and Sergei is one of the best players in the world. He played the World Chess Championship match against Magnus Carlsen, so you know he's a great player. And with black pieces we have Vallejo pawns, and his rating is 2700 a player, and the game played 2018. Here we have these opening moves again, and here you can play d4. So you see, you have a lot of interesting moves and a lot of options. One of them is to play the tricky move a3, another one is to play this classical 4-knight system, and another one is to transpose to the Scots opening. And here after this and this, Black tried to make some tricks right now to taking on e4. And after this he played queen to e7, and say I'm going to take back the knight. But he's going to take back the knight, but he's going to lose time. Now we have f3, he has to play f5 in order to liberate his pieces and take back the knight. So we have another strong move, putting more pressure against the knight. We can take there, and after this we can take with the bishop, attacking both king and rook. You need to calculate ahead many moves like this way, right, to see this in your head. And after bishop to b7, we have takes, and now castling, and after this we have the same trick as we learned previously. We can take here on e4, and actually he cannot take there because you have rook e1 pinning the queen to the king. So he has to do something else. He played this one, knight f5, attacking the queen. Again he cannot take because we have the same trick. So he played queen to e6, and now bishop f4, attacking this pawn here, long castling, protecting everything, putting the rook opposite to the queen, and protect this c7. So we have queen f3, bishop there attacking, he's defending the pawn, g6, attacking our knight. So this is critical because he's attacking our knight. And here white played some very strong moves. The first one is queen c3. He's attacking our knight, but we created a stronger threat, and this is to take the rook. Obviously he's going to see this one and play something like f6, continue attacking the knight, but now white, in reality, he's not threatening the rook. He would like to transfer the queen to the king's side, and now he's threatening checkmate on c7. As you can see, he created a counter blow in order to improve the position of his pieces, and you need some tactics in order to find these ideas. So we have rook d7 protecting this pawn, and now we have a check. The first move that came into my mind is bishop to b7, but he is going to lose the queen. For that reason he has to play something else, and now we have rook f3. You see, he is ignoring this threat. He don't like to remove this knight because he is creating stronger threats, and this threat right now is rook b3 or rook a3. So we have bishop there. It looked like that this bishop is hanging, but in reality this is a very strong move because he's offering queen's exchange. We don't have time to capture the bishop because he's going to capture our queen, and in the same time he's stopping this check on b3. Very nice move actually, and strong players has this ability to do these powerful moves. And after this check, bishop drop back, and now rook to b3. What is going to do? The only move, believe it or not, is this one in order to stop this checkmate. Actually, he don't have a lot of ideas. Queen here on b6 is not possible, or it's not a good move because we're going to take the rook, and this is not also possible because the bishop on f4 is spinning this pawn. So after this you just take the queen and white is victorious. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Here it's time for action. This is the initial page of my website, and here you can click Give me access to get access to free lessons. You can read this page, and if you scroll down, here you can add your name and your email. After that, you're going to take a free lesson how to avoid chess blunders. So, time for action is now, and you're very welcome to join my mail list.